All right, so the reason that we're all here today is not so much, well, certainly it is about Facebook ads, but it is actually, the purpose of today is to address the iOS 14 update that's affecting how our ads are handled. And there's a bunch of things that are required by Facebook. There's things that you have to do in the business manager and in the ads manager and in the events manager. There's things you have to do with your pixel. You have to register your domain. There's a whole bunch of things in there that didn't used to be required. So what I'm going to do today is walk through them just step by step, and I'm going to share my screen so you can see what I'm doing. And at any time, you can just raise your hand and ask a question. And that's why we're doing this live and on Zoom instead of in a Facebook Live, because in a Facebook Live, there's too much of a delay. And by the time I see your question, I've already talked for 3 more minutes and we're on a different subject. So that's why we're doing this on Zoom.
That's good.
All right, so first of all, just a little bit of background of what is the iOS 14 update. And what it is iOS is the Apple operating system that works all of the Apple devices. When people with iPhones or iPads or iPods or any Apple device that uses iOS, when they get that notice, it says, hey, there's a new iOS update. You need to update your device. Until they do that for 14, everything works the same way as it always did because they're not on iOS 14 yet. But as soon as they update their phone or their iPad or their tablet or whatever they're using, as soon as they say, yes, update me to iOS 14, then the next time they open Facebook on that device, there's a little warning that pops up, and it's on the handout that I put in the chat. And it says, hey, Facebook is tracking your personal information. Do you want to allow them to track you not only while you're on Facebook, but after you leave Facebook, which would be like going to our landing pages or going to our Facebook groups or wherever, well, Facebook groups would be okay. But if you point them to anything else, it's saying, do you want them to be able to track you? And I am guessing 9 out of 10 Apple users are going to say, oh, heck no, I do not want to be tracked. And once they say that, all that really does is it makes their device stop sending the pixel information back to Facebook. Now, they're still going to see Facebook. They're still going to see your ad. They're still going to click on it. They're still going to download your lead magnet. They're still going to sign up for the consult. They're still going to do everything that they always used to do. And your pixel is on the pages that they're doing. But because they're using it from an iOS device and they chose not to be tracked, Facebook won't get that pixel report. So on your ad, let's say that you spend $100, let's say, on a Facebook ad. And when you go into the Facebook ad dashboard, it's going to say 50 people clicked. And you're going to go, wow, that's kind of expensive, $2 a click. But you have to remember that those 50 people are only the people who were on desktop computers or were on Android devices. So for you to really know who clicked, you need to go over to either your ClickFunnels landing page or your lead pages or wherever your lead page wherever your landing page is. That's where you're going to see the actual number of people who downloaded your lead magnet. So that's one of the complications. It's not that people on iOS 14 devices won't see your ad. They will see it, and they will still do exactly what they would have done before this. It's just that you won't know it in your ads dashboard. That's the difference. So you can imagine now, we've all been taught all the percentages, like, well, the click-through rate should be this, and the cost per click should be that, and all those numbers that we look at to see if our ad is successful. Well, now those numbers are incomplete. So everything, it's going to look like less people clicked. It's going to look like less people took the download. Your cost per click is going to look really high because you're dividing the same $100 by only 50. So it looks like $2. But if you go over to ClickFunnels where the landing pages was built and you see, ooh, 100 people downloaded. my lead magnet. Well, now you have the full information. So now you can say that $100, I got 100 downloads. So now it's $1 per download. So that is part of what the impact is. So just to make sure everybody understands, it's not that iOS devices are being blocked from seeing your ads. It's that we are being blocked from seeing what they do because they chose to not be tracked. So I just want to make that clear because I've had a couple of clients say to me, well, what's the point of running Facebook ads if people on Apple devices don't see the ads? And that's not the case. They do see the ads. So just wanted to make that clear. Okay, so now, does anybody have any questions just on the background there? Christine, it's in the chat.
There's nothing in the chat.
No?
Mm-mm.
Okay, no one sees it in the chat?
I think someone else said the same.
Okay, hold on, let me just.
I see it in the chat.
Oh, here it is now.
Yep.
Okay, do you see it?
I do now.
Okay.
Thank you. You just
you're welcome.
clicked the button and it popped up.
Oh, okay, good. There we go.
Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. Does anyone have any questions just about the overall, like what it means? Because I think there was some confusion on what that means. Okay.
Phyllis, I have a question, Phyllis.
Yes, Tracy,
like
go ahead.
my iPhone updated. I don't recall seeing anything like this. I'm on like 14 point something now. Do you think that it's rolled out to everybody at this point?
It is supposed to be, Tracy. The way Apple described it is as soon as you update to 14 dot anything. Now they're up to like 14.2 or 3 or 4 now. I can't even remember. So is it possible, Tracy, that you're on like 14.2 or 3 and maybe when you went to 14.0, it asked the question and you didn't know it was a thing and you just said no, because that could be part of it.
I don't know. If I did it, it was a while ago. I'm at 14.4 now.
Yeah, and it could have been because I saw this, like, I think I saw mine, I want to say January, possibly the end of December, but I think it was January when I saw mine. So, and at the time, I only knew about this because I had seen it on some blogs and I went, oh, there it is. So, I mean, I was aware of it because I was aware of it. But I think if you're not aware of it and you just did an update, there's always some weird things that happen after an update. So you might have thought, oh, well, that's just something, and didn't really remember it.
Yeah,
and I think, I'm sorry, go ahead.
I know, I was just going to say, it could be. I think I've been aware of it for a while, but.
Okay.
I don't know.
All right.
I wonder if there's ever any way to check.
That's a good, like, how do you check on your Apple device?
Yeah. To see if I did
that's
or
a great
in Facebook.
Question. I'm going
to do that. I was trying to look, actually thinking, well, maybe in settings or I don't know. Because
I'm going to look that up myself, guys. I've been looking at it from what do we do from the Facebook ads point of view. I hadn't really looked at it from the Apple point of view. I'll look that up, Tracy, and let you know. I'm not sure.
It looks like on your settings, if there's a new one, you will see it. Therefore, if you've downloaded the one before, because right now I just got a new notification to upload to 14.42. That means I've already done 1, 2, 3.
Right, but I think Tracy was saying, did I ever answer that question?
I don't know either. That's why I was looking.
If I answered that question, what did I say? That's the other question.
And I got it. So how do I know if I did?
And I don't know because I've been looking at it from the totally other point of view. I've been looking at it from the point of view of what do we do with the Facebook ads? I haven't really been looking at it from this point of view. I will look that up, guys, and I'll put it in the group later and let you know.
Thank you. Sure.
All right, so I'm going to share. You're welcome. I'm going to share my screen and bring this over. Okay, so now you can see this is that that message that I was talking about. This is what it'll say: allow Facebook to track. And most people are probably going to say ask the app not to track. And if they say allow, then everything will be exactly the way that it always was. All right. So the thing that I think people are going to be finding if you've done ads is when you go into your ads manager, you're going to see these they look like error messages. They're like, there's like those little caution triangles and they're orange or red, and it looks like something's really bad. And these are the types of messages that you're going to see. 1, your website domain was not verified. 2, there's a pixel that you have in an ad that will not be available in the conversion events. So because you have to now set them up. The other one is, and this is like, I don't know why they use these words, update attribution window. Well, what the heck is an attribution window? And an attribution window is when you set up a Facebook ad. In the ad set, you tell it, what do you want to consider to be the window of when I'm going to count this person clicking? And I usually do the 7-day, I usually do the 1-day click. The default is 7-day click, which means if they saw your ad within the last 7 days and then they click on your landing page, that counts. And I'm of the mind that I personally go with the 1-day click because I really want to know the people who look at my ad, click on it, and that's really what I want to know. I really am not so much interested in what they do a week later, but I'm an odd man out here because most people use the 7-day click window. Now, the reason this is a thing is that up until now, you could have a 28-day click window, which makes no sense at all, which means if I saw someone's ad today, and then sometime before April 27th or April 28th, if I clicked on their lead magnet, that counts as my ad giving them that impetus to click. And I personally don't agree because they saw the ad 4 weeks ago. So really, do you really think it was my ad that made them click 4 weeks later? Now, that's just my own personal preference. And the reason I'm telling you that is that 28-day window is no longer even a thing. Like, you can't even do that. So the reason you might get this little error message is if you had a 28-day click window, then you would have to change it. And if you don't change it, they will change it for you to the 7-day click window, but they'll also pause the ad that has it. So your ad will stop running. You won't be charged any money because it's not running, but it's not running. So it's important that you fix that. And then the last thing that you're going to see is that the pixel traffic is being received from domains that are not on the allowed list. Now, that the allowed list has been there in the past, but it wasn't really critical. And now all of a sudden it's throwing error messages where it never used to. So I'm going to show you how to take care of those 4 things. And in the process, I'm going to show you how the whole setup works. All right, so first of all, the verifying your domain. In the ads manager, let's see, I've got these set up. Let me go to the business. Well, first of all, actually, none of you guys have been here. Let me just do a quick little tour of, this is the ads manager that I am in. And you can see this tab, Resource Center. That's the new one. This didn't used to be here. And now this is where you'll see all those errors, those 4 errors that I just mentioned. If you haven't done all those things, you're going to see 4 things listed here as errors that have to be corrected. Now, then you have the campaigns. An ad campaign is something that you are trying to accomplish with an ad. So for instance, if you're doing a lead magnet that leads to a consult, let's say, so the campaign would be lead magnet to consult. That's what you're trying to accomplish. So in there, you would set up the name of it and what it is and what it means. Then inside of that campaign, you have ad sets. And an ad set, in fact, you know what, let me go over to where I have an ad. I think I have one in here. Yeah, I just did one ad in here. So see here, the campaign is, now see this, here's this error. You have 1 task to complete in your resource center. I left that there so I can show you guys how this works. I had already cleared up the other 3 and I said, wait a minute, I better save one. So this is what you're going to see if you haven't done the things that I'm going to talk to you about today. And you can see this splat here, this caution exclamation point, that tells you that there's something happening here. Now this is one of those 4 things, and it's the pixel will no longer have conversion events. We're going to come back to that. I want to just focus for a couple of minutes here on the ad manager screen. So the campaign here, I live in the state of Nevada in the US, and I had a Nevada tech review ad that I ran towards the end of last year into the beginning of this year. And in that was the campaign. It was to do a tech review for Nevada-based businesses. Now, inside of there, I only ran one audience because it's the state of Nevada, and there's really no reason to split it into different audiences. But if I was wanting to do, for instance, let's say, because I'm on the West Coast, let's say maybe I wanted to do California separate, Nevada separate, Oregon separate, and Washington separate, I would make 4 ad sets, one for each state. And in that ad set, the audience would be for those individual states. So here is the one I set up. And if I go in here to edit it, this is where you would be setting up the ad. And I just want to show you here, this is where you choose the audience. So I had this audience right here. It's the location is Nevada, 25 to 65. Now, if I was going to do California, I would do another ad set that would say California, and I would choose California here, and et cetera, et cetera. So the thing to remember about ad sets is they are really a definition of who the audience is. And then let me go back in there. The other thing that you do in an ad set is you set the date, the range date, and you set the budget that you want to spend. And then this is also where you pick the placements of where you want the ad to run. Like, do you want it to run just on the Facebook feeds, like the Facebook feeds, the Instagram feeds? Do you want it to run in stories, messages? You can pick all these different things. And then here's that window, that attribution setting that I was telling you about. I always do 1 day because I want to see that my ad was like immediately taken, acted on. That's what I'm trying to track. But in here, you used to be able to choose up to 28 days. So that's where this is. And then the third step of this, the next lower level, is the actual ad. So remember, the campaign, we just described what it is we're doing. The ad sets described when we're doing it, how much we're going to spend, and who the audience is. And now the ad itself, this is the ad. Now you could run, this is where you would run like an A/B comparison. Like maybe the first ad would be with a video on the ad, and the second one would be with a still image. Now mine was with a still image here, but you could add another ad inside of this Nevada ad set. And inside of here, where you edit the actual ad, this is where you put, this is how you build the ad itself. Like, what's the headline? What's the text? What are the images you're going to use, or what is the video? And here's the actual text of the ad. What is the button going to say? The button says learn more. This is saying where is it going to go when somebody clicks? And this is actually in my ClickFunnels. This is a landing page over in ClickFunnels. And then the tracking is going to be using which pixel, that's part of what we're doing here today. So I just wanted to just show you that since all of you have not necessarily run ads yet, or you may not have run very many ads. So that was just a quick scroll through the ad. This is called the Ads Manager right here where we are. Now, because this message is there, that tells you what things you have to worry about. So this one is saying, this is the Pixel one. It says, hey, due to Apple's iOS 14, only 8 conversion events can be set up on your Pixel. And, and up until now, you didn't have to do anything with it. Now, if you have this message right here, you can click right here on Review Pixels. But if you don't have an ad running, you still have to do it. And the way you would do it, let me show you where this lands. It goes into your events manager, and then you're in data sources, which is this little triangle thing here, data sources. And then here's the pixel. These are the old pixels because this was before the iOS 14. Now the new thing is you have to add the events to your pixel right here, aggregated event measurement. Now that's a weird word, and what Facebook is hoping to be able to do is they're hoping to be able to extrapolate from the data that you do receive. They're hoping to be able to extrapolate a more meaningful result number for you, because they are recognizing that a lot of the people clicking are not going to be reported with the pixel. So they have an algorithm, which I don't know how it works, but there's an algorithm here that is going to help them receive different and more complete data than you would have had without it. So when you click in here now, I have 3 different domains that are associated with this pixel, because I have 2 different businesses and then another little branch business. So in here, I have this domain, and this domain has been verified. I'm going to show you how to verify it in a minute, but let's just finish with the pixel event thing. So when I click on here, you see it says that there's 0 events. So I click manage the events, and it says, are you sure you want to edit them? And remember that if you have any ads running right now, you might disrupt them. Because this is all brand new, there's nothing here. So I click on add an event, and now it's saying, what pixel do you want to use? And I believe this is the one that I use. And then which event, and I might have picked the wrong pixel. And I have 2 because I created a second one for a training that I was doing once, and that was a mistake. Now I have 2 pixels for the same company. So let's just see, lead would be one of them. All right, let's see here. Let me go to the other one. All right. I'll go over here to this one. I know I have something in there. Okay, so here is the web event configurations. This is that aggregated event measurement. All right, so these are the different events that can happen with a pixel. Someone can purchase something. Someone can complete a registration if I'm doing a workshop or a webinar or something. Someone can schedule something like a consult or a meeting or something. And then also someone could just be downloading my lead magnet, and then they would be a lead. The thing to be aware of here is that these are rated in priority order. Notice that the highest priority I have is purchase. And the reason the priority is important is as your pixel is being used and as it's being reported, the first one of these that is received, it stops looking. So if I put the lead up to the top and I had the traditional, I run an ad, it goes to a lead magnet, you download the lead magnet, it rolls to a thank you page where it says, how would you like to register for my webinar? And then if you choose to register for the webinar, that pixel is there. But because if I put the lead as the first important thing, once the lead is captured, that pixel stops sending for this event. It's going to stop. So you have to put them, it's kind of in backwards order. You have to put the least important thing at the bottom. Now it doesn't mean that you don't want to know leads, you do, but you have to be aware that once any event is triggered, it stops looking. So if I stopped on the lead, then I would never get the pixel firing to tell me that it was a purchase. So you need to have the most important thing at the top, either the purchase or the registration or whatever. In most cases, the ultimate goal of your campaign is, for instance, a consult, which would be a schedule, or it's a registration, or it's a purchase. So as long as you put those things ahead of the lead, then everything will be fine. And the other thing that you want to think, I'm sorry, did someone have a question?
Sorry, yes.
Yes, go ahead, Rose.
Can you change that once you, if it stops it for a particular potential client, perhaps when they, can you change it as you go? Maybe
Yes,
for the
yes.
future?
Yeah, so look, I just clicked manage. So now once I'm in here, I can, like, now I can just click and drag. I can put the lead up to the top. I can move it down. You can move these around as much as you want, but you just go in to edit them. I'm just mentioning that because normally you would think that you do them in the order that they appear in your funnel. Like the first thing they do is get the lead magnet. So lead would be first. Then it rolls to a thank you page where maybe they could schedule a consult. And then it rolls to another thing that says, hey, would you like to buy my so-and-so? So there's actually 3 things that can happen. And you have to just rank the ones so that the most important one is the one that is, because it's going to stop reporting once it hits one of the higher priority.
Yeah.
So I know, and this is, again, this is Facebook's way of trying to figure out a way to extrapolate data based on the limited pixel events that they're going to see. So I'm predicting that this will probably change at some point. This is their first whack at it, and we'll see how that works. All right, so that was one. Now, if you remember one of these things that was on this thing you had to worry about was this pixel will no longer have an available conversion event. That's what we just looked at, because it used to be that the pixels, you just put the pixels that you wanted right here, and then they all just fired whenever they were, and everything was beautiful. It was all beautiful. Now, all of the pixels being reported over here in the regular pixel is just the desktop PC users and Android device users. So this aggregated event measurement is their approach to trying to extrapolate data to deal with the new reality. So that this is something they see where it says new. This was never there before. All right, so now we saw the domain over here. Let's go back over here. The first message that you're likely going to see is that your website domain is not verified. Now, what that means is that Facebook needs to verify that you actually own that domain, or you have the right to control that domain. So what you need to do is you go into, let me get over to the right screen here. You need to go to, you go into, when you're in this screen here, this little house, I don't go to the business home because in some places it's going to set you to what they call the business suite, which is very difficult to make it work. Once you get to the business suite, all the buttons don't seem to work the way they're supposed to. So I always just use this little pile of dots. That's like a little menu, and you see it says all tools. And you come in here, and to do the domain, you have to go to the business settings. And then inside of the business settings, they call it brand safety. So in other words, they're setting up the safety to protect your brand, which is your domain. So then in here, you put the domains that you want to be able to send out with this for this business account, this ad account. Now I've got 2 domains already in here. So let's see if it'll let me add one more. So that's the domain of one of my second company. And you don't put the HTTPS, you don't put the www, you just put the actual domain, and then you add it. Okay, so that's actually added to that's on a different company. All right, how about this? I have one more. I have my name, phylliswinters.com. I don't think that one is anywhere. Okay, so now I'm adding, this is the domain, phylliswinters.com. And see this little red dot there? That means that it's not verified. And here is the different ways that you can verify. The easiest way to verify, and what's in your handout is to use this DNS verification. And what that means is you go to wherever your domain is hosted. And in my case, my domain is hosted. Oh yeah, did I do this one? Hold on, I'm just looking to see if I did that one. Yeah, you know what? I'm going to go over here. I'm going to do that. I'm going to do that one. Now you can see that I have way too many. I have way too many domains. And every time I do a training, I add things. So that's why I have so many. Okay, so here you can see it is not verified. I go over here to DNS verification and see it says log into your domain registrar. That's, for me, that's GoDaddy. Yours could be Bluehost, or it could be HostGator, or wherever you have your domain. And you're going to create a DNS record. So over here is my complete the puzzles in GoDaddy, and this is my DNS. And what I need to do is I need to create a TXT record, and I have to copy this code. So I click on that, and that copies it to the clipboard. And then I come over here, and this, I'm showing you how it works in GoDaddy, but it'll work the same. The same concept will work wherever yours is. So I need to add a DNS record, and it's a TXT record. You have to put the @ in for the host if it's required. That little red thing says it's required. Some hosting companies don't require it, but GoDaddy does. And then I just paste that code that I got from Facebook. And now here it is, that TXT is a Facebook domain verification. So that is now in my GoDaddy DNS for the domain that we're talking about.
So,
All right, so now I'm sorry, a question? Yes. I can't hear you, Tracy.
Tracy, you can go
Yep,
first.
sorry. Will that cover subdomains as well?
Yes, I'm glad you asked that. Yes, so every subdomain on that domain will now be verified. And that's a good question, because when I do my funnels and other things, I use subdomains to have my funnel have its own, URL. But by verifying the root domain, you are verifying all of the subdomains.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Now, this thing says it could take up to an hour. In my experience, it doesn't. But if you click verify here, it's possible that it will say it's not verified, because sometimes it really does take a few minutes. But this one now says that it is verified. And so now you would say, wait a minute, why is that button still red? And that's because Facebook needs to fix this a little bit. You need to refresh this screen. And now it's green. Okay, so now that was the first. So now that was the first problem you're likely to see, is your website domain was not verified. And we just did that by going to business settings, brand safety, domains, add the domain in here, and then go over here to do the verification. And remember, we used the DNS verification. We went to GoDaddy, or it could be Bluehost, or wherever your domain is. We created a DNS record for a TXT record, and it says add the @ in the host field if your domain requires it. And remember, mine does require it. So there's that @. And they call it host, GoDaddy calls it name. And then the value is the text. And this code is unique to your domain. So if you were to look at somebody else and go, oh yeah, there's the code, don't copy someone else's code, only use your own code, because this is the code that is synced to this pixel for this domain. So that's important. And then you click verify, and it will be green. All right, so now we have addressed those first two problems. The website domain was not verified, and the pixel no longer had conversion events. We also talked about the attribution window. And remember, the attribution window is something that is on the ad set level. And remember, you used to be able to go up to 28 days. Nobody that I know would ever use 28 days. So you just have to, if you had an ad that already had a 28-day window, you'd have to change it. Well, actually, they would change it for you, but then you would have to go in and authorize that, and then they would you could restart that ad. Now, when I go in here, look at my resource center, it says that you don't have any pixel events. I just put them in there. So now I can just say, I just did that, so I can mark it complete, and now that goes away. Okay, so those are the first three things. Now, the last one of the messages that you're going to see that is something that you didn't have to use to worry about is that pixel traffic is being received from domains that are not on the allowed list. The domain that you verify is like automatically on the allow list, but other domains like coming from ClickFunnels or coming from Webinar Jam or coming from Schedule Once or Acuity or any other places that you might have your pixel, you have to add those domains into the allow list. And the way we do that is we go, let's see here, we go into the pixel, which is the events manager, and we go to, and then we go to settings right here. I'm on the I pick the pixel that I want right over here. And then this is the pixel information window, and see the settings right here. You click the settings, and there's a whole bunch of stuff in here that you don't need to really worry about. But at the bottom, it says the traffic permissions. And these are the domains on your allow list. When you first get here, there's not going to be anything. So let me go over here and go to the one that we just added. All right, never mind. We'll just use this one. That's fine. The thing that we need to look at in here is go to the settings and all the way down to the bottom. And if you don't have anything created, it'll say create an allow list. Because I then can edit it. And all you do here is put in the domain that you want to be able to send pixels from. So what I've got here is I've got these three different domains that I have this pixel on. And one of them, if you look at this app.funnel-preview, that's actually ClickFunnels. So when I go to do a test of a funnel, that is when I do a preview and I'm in test mode in ClickFunnels, this is where that pixel will be coming from. So you have to add that. So let's say I wanted to add, let's see. Let's see, I wanted to add that domain. I just click next. And now it's saying, are you sure you want to add this domain to the allow list? And then I'll say confirm. Now, if for some reason let's say you used to have an account with, I don't know, some company that you no longer have an account with. For instance, let's say you used to use Webinar Jam and now you're using Webinar Ninja, or you used to use Acuity and now you're using Schedule Once or something like that. What you would do is the company that you're no longer using, you would come in and add domains to the block list. So if there's any domain that you used to allow people to send to, you would go in and create a block list that would say, don't allow my pixel to come from this domain anymore because I no longer have that account. Now that's kind of like a double negative, because you can remove it from the allow list by just clicking right here, and that will put it on the block list. So there's two different ways to do that. And you're going to see the message, the error message that you're going to see is that the pixel traffic is being received from domains not on the allowed list. And when that usually happens is when it's not usually when it's coming from your own domains that you just added because it knows about them. It's when it's coming from other domains like ClickFunnels or Acuity or one of the webinar systems or some other system that you really are using and you do want your pixel to be reporting, but it's not your own domain. So like you can't verify that domain because it's not yours, but you can allow traffic from that domain because you do have some of your activity happening on that domain. Okay, so those are the 4 things that you're going to run into. The website domain needs to be verified. The pixel needs to have conversion events set up. The attribution window, I don't think this will apply to any of you because you don't have ads already running that have a 28-day window, so that won't really affect you. And then the other thing is that pixel traffic is being received from a domain that's not in your personal realm. And so the 4 steps to solve them is you verify your domain, which we just showed you, and you do that by adding this TXT record. Then you create your events, which we did over here. Let's see. We did that right here. You do that in the aggregated event measurement. And that's where you set up the events that you want to have happen. And you can only have 8. And for us, you might be going, holy cow, what would the other 4 be? You have to remember that this applies to everybody. So for instance, e-commerce sites where somebody is buying something, you would have a pixel that says they put something in their cart. You would have another pixel that says it was an abandoned cart. You might have another pixel that says they initiated the checkout. And then you have another pixel that says they completed the checkout. So you can see if you had those types of activities going on, you could get to 8 events pretty quickly. So that's why that 8 sounds like a lot to us, but it's not if you're doing e-commerce. Then you're going to create the domain allow list for other domains that are going to be that are using your pixel. And then if this doesn't really apply, but if you had any attribution windows greater than the 7 days, then you would have to go in and change them. Well, they're going to automatically change them to the 7-day click, but you could go in and change them to if you wanted it to be something else. And then here's the directions. These are the steps that I just went through with you, how to verify your domain, how to create the events in the event manager, how to create the allow list and add domains other than your own, and then the information about updating the attribution windows. And on the last page of the handout, there are, let's see, do I have it here? I think I do. Let me see. Yeah, here we go. So this is the handout that you have. And on the last page, these links are clickable, like when you see this, if you click on here, like verifying your domain, and if you allow it, it's going to go out to the Facebook thing. So I put all of the links to the actual Facebook support articles to all of this stuff here, so that this is, I stripped it down to the quick, just do this, do this, do this, do this. But if you want to see the gory detail, that's on these clickable links on the back page there. Okay, and one other thing that I wanted to just mention is I hope that everyone isn't now like going, oh my God, I thought this was going to be even, I know it was hard, but I didn't realize it was this hard. I just want to say all the stuff that I just showed you, you only have to do it once. So it's not like every single time you go to run an ad, you have to go through all of that stuff. You do this once to prepare your business account, your ads account, and your events manager for the iOS 14 changes. And you just do it once. And then from then on, all the ads that you run, all that stuff is already done. Teresa, you're so sweet.
Thank you for that.
You're so sweet. Now, does anyone have any questions? And I know your head's probably ready to explode. That's why I want you to know that you only do it once. Once you have this little checklist thing that I'm giving you, even if you don't understand it, if you just go through the motions and just get it done, you'll never have to do it again. Unless you start a new business or get a new pixel or something. But like I say, I've got duplicate pixels by accident, and it's not fun to have pixels that you don't want, because then you always have to pick the one that you really want. And I need to go in and clean that up myself. So does anyone have any specific questions or general questions? Yes, Tracy.
Hi, it's me again.
Yeah, no worries.
So my domain registrar, I bought it through WordPress.com. It is being now forwarded. So I changed the name servers to go to my new host. So
and
where would I
host? Who's your host, Tracy?
InMotion Hosting.
And do you know if that's where your domain, where your DNS is? I think
that was my question. So I can get into the cPanel on InMotion Hosting. So I really don't even need to worry about the WordPress.com registrar.
As long as you can get to wherever your DNS is, and that's all you need to do, is you need to create that DNS record, and it's a TXT. Some of them require that @ sign in the host or name field. Some don't. So and
I know
you want to take a look and see if that's where it is?
Yeah, I know WordPress.com doesn't give you
WordPress.com won't do it.
So, yeah.
Why don't you take a look and then we'll come back. Does anyone else have any questions?
So this is
where my DNS is.
I'm sorry, Rose, go ahead.
Oh, okay. I thought somebody else was speaking. Sorry. So this applies to all Facebook ads, because I have one that I stopped. I was running for my book, but it ended sometime early January. But I was
and that ad is still there. It might be that it's completed, or you might have turned it off. You still need to do all the things we just talked about, because what needs to be done isn't specific to that one ad. It's for your whole Facebook business account and your whole Facebook ads manager account. So you still need to go do all of that. And then once you're there, when you go to your ads manager dashboard, if you see all those splats, like you've got all these errors, then you just go in and it says, you don't have your domain verified. You go, yes, I do. And like, you just clean that stuff up, and then you can rerun that ad if you want. You can just turn it back on and change the dates.
Okay.
Okay, someone else have a question? And when you get in there and you start working on this stuff, feel free. And as we discovered, don't email me, because my email is a mess. Message me, because luckily I'm not getting promotional messaging yet, thank goodness. So actually my messages are actually just from real people. So if that's a cleaner, easier way to reach out to me until I figure out how to get my arms around all the promotional emails I get. So, and also, ladies, that should be a lesson to us when we're sending promotional emails. Don't overdo it. I know people say send an email every day, send 2 emails every day. And I'll tell you the truth, when somebody sends me 2 emails, if somebody even sends me 1 email a day, I just unsubscribe. Maybe 3 days from now, that email they would have sent me is exactly what I would have done, but I'm so annoyed that I turned it off. So just that's something for us to be considered. You get 4 a day from ClickFunnels. Oh my goodness, Teresa.
I need to go clean mine up. I have like 10,000 that's why I took a brain break, because it was just so overwhelming.
Yeah.
It really is. And when you stop and think, Christine, that's not really anything to do with our business.
Exactly. I was lost.
I know.
And that's part of why I sent you that email.
And I'm going to go look at that as soon as we're done.
When you respond to me, then we will have a chat. And
yes, and I will get back to you today, honey. I promise. I'll get back to you today.
No rush.
I apologize.
No rush.
Okay.
No, don't rush. Don't make it urgent, because I just need to make sure I get in on your March Madness.
Yes, I'm
I
gonna
don't
I'll
wanna
send, you know what, I'll put the March Madness thing right here in the chat so you guys can grab it. And in case you don't know, the March Madness is a little special that I do. Like my one-on-one, I usually do I call it a done with you project / training, where I work with you and we accomplish, like, it's normally 3 hours and it's actually 3.5 because the first half hour is to figure out what we're going to do. And then that's $9.97, which is steep. And I agree it's steep, but the point is we get so much done in 3 hours that we would get done in 3 hours what would take you 3 days or more to do yourself. And for the March Madness, I have 1.5 hours for 300. So that really is like a super duper special. And I'm happy to report that I've had a lot of takers, and it's makes me happy.
Beautiful. Go ahead. I apologize.
No, go ahead. What, Christine?
No. I think that's beautiful. I was just commenting how beautiful that is.
Yeah.
Because
I
you
just
teach
put that
so
link in there.
well.
Yeah, I just put that link in there, and I'm going to, everybody's here. You're in my group, right? I think everybody here is in the group. I'm going to put in the group today, last call, tomorrow's the last day for March Madness. So, and even like, you don't have to use it tomorrow, just buy it tomorrow, by tomorrow, and we can use it, next week, next month.
That was one of my questions.
Okay.
I need to get reorganized and get my path, because I was so online with everything, and then anyway, we'll talk about it.
Anyway. All right. And also, as always, if you have a personal question that you don't want to share with the group, message me on Facebook Messenger. And if you have a question that you think could be helpful, or someone else in the group might have the same question, put it in the group, and then we can all share the same information.
Yeah. Is this offer for anything tech related that we need support with?
Yes. Well, anything related to technology. I mean, I can help you. I'm not a copywriter. I can help you with all the systems. I can help you figure out what your flow should be. I can help you set up systems, connect systems, create funnels, create ads, anything like that I can do. The only thing that, and to be honest, I am a pretty good copywriter for my own copy because I know my stuff, but I don't want to tell you I can help you write copy because I don't know your material. So
yeah, no,
basically anything other than copywriting, and I'll give you my feedback on your copy, but I don't hold myself out as an expert.
That makes sense, of course. So if we're not using ClickFunnels, we can still have support.
Oh yes. What do you use, Rose?
Lead, I think it's Infusionsoft. The lead, Keep.
Keep. Yeah. I actually, I'm very lucky in that for some reason I just grab. I can just pick up a system, like, and in an hour I can be telling you how to, what I mean? Like I'm really good with working with systems that I don't use myself.
Okay.
So, but I do happen to use Keep, and I have used Active Campaign. I have used Drop Funnels. I have used, FG Funnels. I use Schedule once, but I worked with Acuity and Calendly. I mean, so I've worked with all of the different softwares that you are most likely using. So
okay.
Yes, it does not have to be ClickFunnels by any stretch.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Okay, everybody. Well, it was wonderful to see everybody. Thank you so much for joining us. And I will be seeing you hopefully next week in the live, but don't wait till next week. If you have a problem or a question before then, go ahead and either message me or put it in the group, and grab your March Madness before the end of the day tomorrow.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. This was awesome.
Welcome.
Have a great day, everyone. Phyllis, you enjoy your day.
Thank you, guys. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Phyllis.
Bye.